getting back to our origin of we the people. Tackling current issues, both political and legal, with common sense. As we the people, we must bring common sense back to make our lives better. Only on Now Media TV.
Good evening and welcome back to another episode of We the People, where we tackle current issues with common sense to make your life better. And more importantly, so that we can provide you legal education so people are aware of their rights, but also how the law, with everything going on with the political climate, impacts your lives and how we can improve things here. And speaking of which, I have one of my very favorite contributors and guests on, Tahmina Watson. She is a phenomenal immigration lawyer and expert. She is the founder and owner of Watson Immigration Law, and she is a certified, not only a certified immigration lawyer, but she's also a reputable book author with her book on immigration. Tamina, I am so excited to have you. I could go on and on about you, but welcome back.
Thank you so much, Alina. It is always so much fun to talk to you about immigration because your experience really has a direct impact on the conversations that we have that really impact the people that are listening. So I'm grateful that you have me on.
And so for our audience, like this is one of the best parts is like Tamina is, I mean, renowned expert in her field. She has her podcast and she's also has this incredible book. And her specialty is really in the like getting the business owners to have settled businesses here in the United States, assist with those visas of the professionals and the technical people, but she also knows about what the impact is on the families that we are now seeing because so many people are fearful. Um, some with rightfully so, and maybe others, maybe there's a little bit of a breathing room, if you will. So let's just jump in because obviously we want, you know me, I deal with a lot of families in my practice. And the problem facing many, at least of family members in my clients, is keeping their families together through this immigration process. I mean, we have situations where the father's a U.S. citizen, child's a U.S. citizen, mother may be deportable. What are the most common mistakes families make when dealing with these type of immigration cases?
It really depends on where they are in the immigration system. Have they been detained? Have they not been detained? One of the things that we are seeing, and I'm in Washington State, so one of the latest pieces of news from yesterday is that 37 undocumented workers were detained through a workplace raid in a place called Bellingham at a roofing company. And this is the low skilled, if you like. There's nothing low skill about the work. It's hard work for anybody who does that, roofing work, construction work, healthcare work, agricultural work. There's nothing low skill about it because it's hard work. And so the danger that we are seeing people at the moment is really being detained, whether they are going to the office, whether they are going to the grocery store or dropping their child off at school. The most common issue is what do they need to know if they were to be detained? And so one of the things that is so important for everybody to know is anybody on US soil really has the protection of the Constitution. We have a constitution for a reason. We have seen that the Immigration and Customs Enforcement has not necessarily followed all of the constitutional rights that people are entitled to, but the people should know they have rights. So what's happening with these, mixed status families is that there's a lot of fear at the moment about does the child go to school or not? Because going to school could also mean that dropping your child off or picking your child up could lead to a situation where ICE could pick you up. One of the things that had happened early on in this administration is that they took away the protection that of sensitive areas. So ICE, the Immigration Customs Enforcement Agency, was not allowed to go into churches, schools, hospitals, and courthouses. That protection has been taken away, which really means that ICE now has the ability to go to these locations. So, to answer your question, simply is that everybody is in fear.
Well, and I see it like, for instance, so I still deal with not only estate planning probably, but a lot of family. I still have family, and majority of my clients are Hispanic. But in this one particular case, I was dealing with the dissolution of marriage. The husband is American, US born. The wife is and these are young kids. They're in their 20s, their latter 20s, but she is in her later 20s. She's undocumented. And there was an absolute fear that we had to make a safety plan. What was going to occur in the event that she gets deported? And one of the things is, and I will give kudos to my client, because he was like, I want to do everything I can to protect her, and to help her. But one of the things he said was, even when they went to an immigration attorney to go, what can we do to fix her status? They said because she had 2 illegal crossings, like it was noted, when she was 5 and 9 years old, that they could not apply for her, even when they were still intact marriage. And it was not a marriage of convenience or for green card. So for our viewers, that wasn't the case. They have a child together. He wanted his wife to have status. And to me, I'm like, okay, I remember even in the first Trump administration, like Trump said, if you give me something that only focuses on the dreamers, I will sign it. Give me legislation just deals with the dreamers. Those dreamers are now in their late 30s. They're starting to enter their 40s. But we have all these younger people that were young when they were crossed over. And it's like, what can we do to at least get these kids, and I call them kids, or these young adults, protection so that they can continue to thrive in a country that has basically been their home country for all their lives?
I agree. And what we need is Congress to actually pass a bill that the president can sign. What happens is everything gets lost in politics.
Mhm.
When Congress is actually trying to find a bill, they then lump it in with border security or, various other issues. And the ultimate result is that nothing happens. And so at this point, it's going to be important to figure out how can we have standalone bills that the Republicans can actually champion. A lot of people in the Republican Party actually do want immigration reform. How can we find those folks who will champion these issues and make sure that the people that are all but American in name, I guess, they're all but American, we should be able to give them a path here. But you're totally right, and the law is very complicated. If you've had multiple entries without status, you can have a permanent ban. Now, I do not practice removal defense. In this situation, I would probably research when does unlawful presence kick in. And there is something about, there is a provision about turning 18. That unlawful presence will kick in. And so maybe you can go back and look at that for your client.
Well,
And that,
yeah, I provided her information, so she wasn't my client.
yeah.
So, because I only have, but I did provide to her attorney. I was like, look, here's some, I mean, unfortunately here we do have like the Amigo Center, which is there to help individuals with
Mm,
immigration. The Catholic Charities has an immigration aspect, but the Amigo Center actually provides representation. But I
okay.
was thinking about that because obviously I was in mediation just a few days ago, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're still talking about the same issues we were talking about in 2009 and how to protect these kids that did not have a voice, did not have a conscious intention to cross the border illegally. If you want to, that, where was it? And I remember Trump saying, give me a bill just for that sect. Give me a singular focused bill on these and I will sign it. Let's do it. I personally think there should be only single issue bills because it avoids a lot of the court, if
Hmm.
you will. But
Yeah, I
I'm
agree. It's time. I think it's time that Congress takes action. And it's a matter of we the people, and
Mhm.
what an amazing name of your show. We the people actually make a lot more noise and make sure that our representatives take action. Ultimately, we have gotten we vote for our congressional members, our senators, and let's have them take action. And so make some noise if this is an issue that matters to you, to say let's at least have a bill for the dreamers.
Absolutely. And then also, even for, let's say, the people who are here on the HB1 visas, and I know you've told me all about this, and I always like that's the one I remember. But you have these high technical or these business owners that are here on a visa. What concerns should they be looking at, or what preventative efforts should they be making now based on the political climate of this anti-immigrant
Mhm.
feeling that we are having?
Really good question. For people who are on work visas, I strongly recommend that people do not travel at the moment. I think what we are seeing is unprecedented. Visa holders are being detained at airports. Visa holders are having their visas revoked, and then being sent back to their countries. It's also happening for green card holders. So I think for work visa holders, let's not travel. The second thing I'd say is keep an eye on your visa status. If it is going to expire, apply well in advance because the goalpost of these policies are changing constantly, and we are likely going to see more changes in the near future. When it comes to green card holders, a lot of people who are in the waiting line to get a green card, they might see some changes coming up. You know, the administration stopped green card processing for people who have approved asylum cases. And that's a huge deal. You know, these people wait for years and years to be able to get
Mhm.
to the point where they can file their green card applications, and those final steps are being stalled. I'm afraid that that policy could be extended to different visa categories, including the high skilled workers. So I want people to make sure that they're keeping abreast of the news. And if they are eligible for any type of benefit, now is the time to apply for it, not think about it twice, because you don't know what the policy could be in the future.
And it is all done. And I do believe that regardless of where you stand on the legal battles and stuff, this is ultimately congressional. This has to be. There's only so much that an executive order can do. And there is going to be checks and balances that have to happen. But it's not until our congressional members, our representatives actually do not what the party says, and that's on both sides, is actually doing what has common sense, which is a big thing about we the people. We want common sense. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to return with Tahmina, and we're going to discuss the role of immigration in economic growth, because not enough people are talking about the positive economic impact that immigration has on our country. Tune right back in.